Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful story about transformation. It's a parable that gets right to the heart of what hope is all about. It's called the parable of the sculptor and the silent field. And, well, it kicks off in a place of total, absolute despair. Just listen to those words for a second. Can you imagine a whole community, a whole people, so broken that this is what they believe? This isn't just, a bad day. This is final. It's the core problem of our story, this deep, shared feeling that everything good is over. For good. And the land they live in, it's a perfect mirror of how they feel inside. The source material paints this bleak picture of a field with nothing but bleached out remnants. To the people, it's basically a graveyard, a symbol of their own spiritual emptiness. It's a lot like the story of the house of Israel in exile, just living with the memory of a glory they were sure was gone forever. But right into the middle of all this silence and despair walks a new character, a master sculptor. And with his arrival, you just know everything is about to change, because he sees something completely different. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the huge gap in how they see things. The villagers look out and all they see is a wasteland, an ending. But the sculptor, he sees potential. He sees the raw materials, the actual framework for a whole kingdom. It's the same field, but they're living in two totally different realities. So how does he start? He speaks. But listen to how he speaks. This is not a gentle suggestion. This is a command. His words have this weight to them, a power that can literally reshape the world. He doesn't ask the junk to change. He speaks, and the change begins. And so the first part of this miracle kicks off. First, the word is spoken. Then, and you can almost hear this, the source describes a thunderous rattling as all these scattered pieces start finding each other. Bone connects to its bone. Then, these new skeletons get covered with strength and skin. Suddenly, a field of debris is a field full of bodies. But, and here's the catch, they're motionless. Something really important is still missing. So here's the crucial point, right? The physical part is perfect, but the spiritual part is empty. They have the appearance of life, but not the actual spark. It's a pretty powerful idea that form without spirit is just an empty shell. It really makes you think. Looking alive isn't the same thing as being alive. All right, now we get to the climax of the whole story. The sculptor is far from finished. He's about to call on the one thing that can complete this whole transformation, the one thing that can connect the body to real life. So what is this missing element? The story calls it the breath of life. And no, we're not just talking about oxygen. This is a divine, animating force. It's that fire of the soul we were just talking about, the very thing that turns a thing into a being. And there it is again. He doesn't ask, he doesn't plead, he commands. He turns to the four winds, to the very elements of nature, and calls this spiritual power down. This is it. This is the moment where the physical and the spiritual are finally going to come together. And boom, his command is answered. A huge wind rushes through the valley, and those silent, still figures take their first breath. They don't just twitch or kind of stir. No, they gasp and they get up on their feet. It's sudden, it's complete, it's absolutely dramatic. And they go from a field of dry bones to this. Not just a group of people, not just a village. They become an exceedingly great army. I mean, what a stunning testament to the sheer scale of this transformation. So what's the big idea behind this incredible story? What are we supposed to take away from it? The parable is about more than just bringing bodies back to life. It's really about the journey from absolute hopelessness to a brand new, powerful purpose. And this comparison just leaves it all out, doesn't it? The source material connects the dots for us. From the very dry bones, which is such a perfect symbol for the deepest kind of human despair, all the way to the very great army, which stands for a new reality, a divine destiny. It's a total 180. The parable also lets us in on what the source calls the secret of the Messiah, and it boils down to three key things. First, just fixing the body, not enough. Second, you have to have that restoration of the spirit. It's essential. And third, it's the divine word, that command of the sculptor, that actually builds the bridge over that impossible gap between despair and destiny. So if there's one single thing you take away from this, let it be this right here. The villagers looked at the barren field and decided that was the end of their story. The parable is telling us that was a huge mistake. It's a reminder that, just like the Messiah, the true shepherd walked out of his own grave to offer life, A new beginning is always possible, even when things look completely desolate. I love this quote from the source. It just perfectly captures the whole idea. It's such a powerful metaphor, right? You can have the exact same physical place, a cemetery, but it can become a place of life and worship, a sanctuary. But that change doesn't just happen. It needs that infusion of spiritual breath. And that brings it all back to us, doesn't it? This isn't just some old story. It's kind of a mirror. It's asking us to look at our own lives, our communities, our world, and ask a tough question. Where is our silent field? What parts of our lives feel dry and hopeless, just waiting for someone to see them differently, and waiting for a new breath?